So now let us discuss in detail the case-based reasoning known as a CPR. Here, the definitions of a CPR along with their references. From these definitions, we can conclude that a CPR is an artificial intelligence technique that presents a process of solving a new problem based on the solution of a similar past problem. So it is a problem-solving techniques that imitates how humans make a decision where we usually in our daily life we face lot of problems and then we address these problems. After addressing this problem, we store or we keep the problem that we faced along with their solutions in our brain. Then once we face a new problem, we will try to address the new problem by adapting a previously successful solution to the similar problems that we face in our daily life. So CPR does the same things where the CPR, the new problem, are solved by recalling from the previous or from the old solve problems which are stored in the memory of a CPR. So CPR is a learning from the experience, where the CPR is considered to be a supervised learning algorithms because it deals with a labeled data set. Label dataset meaning that's a data that contains an input and output. Concerning to the CPR, CPR will have a data that containing the old cases along with the solutions. So CPR is a learning from the experience. The more experience that our system learned from a previously solved cases, the more expert our CPR system will be. As in the fact, the more experience the person has in solving the problems is the more expert. Same goes to CPR. A more solved problems stored in the memory, the more intelligence our CPR will be. In our case, we are saving or storing the old cases in our brain, right? But in CPR store the old cases with their solutions in a case space. So the case space is like the memory where all old cases with their solutions are stored. So how CPR solve the new problem? So in solving a new problem, CPR firstly will try to retrieve the similar cases from the memory similar or somewhat similar to the new problem, meaning that in CPR, we are going to compare the new problem with the old previously solved problems which are stored in the case space. And if there are a somewhat or a quite similar problems, then we are going to retrieve that cases or problems. Then we are going to use or update the solution of the old retrieved problem by adapting the solution of the retrieved problem completely or by revising the solution of the old retrieved problem to be fit in addressing the new problem. How we can do that? By mapping the solution from the old retrieved case to the target problem. So this may involve adapting the solution as needed to fit the new solution. So after reusing the solutions of the old retrieved cases and revise it to be fit to address the new problem, the case-based reasoning will store the new experience, meaning that the case-based reasoning will store the new case along with the solution that is suggested in the case base to be used in the future to address any other new cases. So what is the case? Case actually represents a description of a certain problem, or situations. My dear mates, you have to notice that the word of the case here has the same meaning of the words of the problem. So when we are saying a case, meaning that we are saying a problem. So problems and a case has the same meaning. So the case is a previously experienced problems or situation which has been captured and learned in such a way that can be reused for solving a future problem. So actually the case consists of a two main parts. First part is a specification and the second part is a solutions. We name it as SL. So specification parts include the set of attributes or features. So attribute and features has the same meaning here along with the value. These set attributes and feature represent or describe a particular problem. So these attributes or features is used to represent a descriptions about the problems. And the solution parts include the solution that is used in addressing the case or the problems. Here is the visualization of how the case looks like, where each case will be documented with a case number and the two parts of the cases will be documented as can be shown here. This is the part of the specifications where the specification include a certain number of attributes along with their values, and the second part include the solution that has been used in addressing this case. So when we have a more than one cases, meaning that when we have a set of cases, we call this one as a case base. Why is a case base? Because it include a set of cases. So it is the place where we save the set of all solved cases with the solution. So now let us see a real example of how the case looks like in CPR. Here is the case that is representing the car diagnostic situation, in which this case is documented with the case number 1 and including the two parts, specification part that include the attributes and their values. This is the attribute, actually, the problem, car, year, battery, and so on. This is are the attributes. And each of these attributes should have a value. And this is the value. So, for example, here, the case number 1, in the specification parts, we do have a problem attribute that has a value of front light doesn't work. And we do have the third attribute, which is a year, have a value of 1993. While the second part is represented here with a solution that include the decision that has been made in order to solve the problem along with the actions that has been taken in order to solve this problem. So this is a real example of how the case looks like in CPR. As we already discussed in the early slides, the set of cases are stored in the case base. So here an example where we do have a case base that include two cases, case 1 and case 2. Each of these case describe a one particular problem or situation. So case 1 describe a problem and case 2 describe a problem that is a difference from the case 1. So all cases in a case base are unique from each other, in which each case should have a unique characteristics in terms of specification, attributes along with their value should be unique, and the solution as well should be unique from the another case. While the new problem in a CPR, while the new problem that must be solved by the CPR should be presented with including only the specification part without presenting the solution, because we are looking for the solution and we should only present the specification part in the new problem. Here is an example where we present this is a new problem and we present only the attributes along with the value. We didn't present the solution because we are going to look for the solution by implementing the CBR step.